Hi, everybody, and welcome to Love and Light with Crystal Blue Oracle, Healing as a Tribe, and Taking Responsibility on It. And you're on the Transformation Talk radio network. Stay with me for the next hour as I talk to you about spiritual gifts. Also, you want to tune in with me every second and fourth Tuesday at 4 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Mountain Time, where we talk about anything metaphysical, anything that helps you be better. And a lot of it has to do with the awakening. There's a lot of people that have been awakened for a while, and there's a lot of people who just were awakened, and a lot of people don't know how to navigate any of it. And that's one of the reasons I'm here, to help you navigate through it, to show you the way. So you got to remember, you have to be brave. If you're willing to take it on this path of healing and transformation, just have to be brave. Okay, today we're going to talk about spiritual gifts. The frequency of this planet has lifted, and more people are becoming aware of their spiritual healing gifts, and we're learning about these spiritual gifts. They were given to us at birth. They are our God-given, I am given, creator-given, spirit-given right. Every one of us was born with these gifts. They are our extra gifts. We have 6 senses. These are the extra ones. Before I continue about that, you need to know that a lot of you that were born with these gifts were like me. You forgot about them. If you were like me when you were little, you would experience things and say something to people, and they'd look at you like, what's wrong with her? She's special. Or sometimes don't say that to other people. Don't tell other people that. It's funny now, but at that time, I was so uncomfortable. I suffered. And they made me feel like something was wrong with me. And I'm sure a lot of people have gone through that too. So what it causes us to go through is a forgetting period. We forget who our true self is. And then create an identity so we can fit in. So people won't look at us funny anymore and make us feel uncomfortable because we're saying something about it. So I kept a lot of that stuff in. I forgot about a lot of it. Some things came through when I was little, and I didn't tell too many people about things. You just learn to not do that. But now we're at a point with the awakening, with the healing or the frequency lifting in the planet, that we can reclaim our gifts. The thing is, there is a catch, yeah. You have to become a better person. You want to be more compassionate, more open-hearted and pure-intentioned and playful. And by doing those things, you get to access your gifts, utilize those gifts, and raise your vibration and heal yourself. By doing all of those things, you're being your best self, and you're helping yourself, and you're helping the planet. When we make decisions from our heart and not our ego, everything falls into place quickly. And we find ourselves creating wealth, spiritual, material abundance of all kinds from a totally different source and a lot quicker. Again, it's not all the 3D that we've been shown. Also, above all, I would say that you have to really watch your ego as you grow into your power with your gifts. Don't think that you're better than anyone else or that you're more empowered than anyone else. That's the trick that ego likes to pull you to keep you off of your or out of your heart. You need to respect everyone because everyone's choices and everyone's on a different journey. We're not all in the same thing. Also, I'd like to say with that, with any spiritual empowerment journey, you need to have a sense of humor. You need to be able to laugh at yourself because you're going to have dark days. Healing is not easy. Going through the things that you pushed in your pocket, it's not easy. And some days you're going to feel like you were thrown to the bottom of the pit and that you can't find a light. And then there's some days you're going to be so excited and feeling amazing, and you wondered why the way you feel makes you have the coping mechanism to go through all of it. And when you have a sense of humor, you can, on those bad days, you can say, you know what? Great. Thanks for dumping that on me, Spirit, today of all days. Spirit's like, you need to grow. You need to deal with it. You need to heal. So as we start now about the gifts, I want to talk about 5 spiritual gifts. It's 5 laws of the spiritual gifts that it'll help you work effortlessly through your gifts, make it easier to work through your gifts. You have to have pure intention, but not just pure intention for the good of everyone involved, not just pure intention for you and nobody else, not just pure intention for the people in your group or your business and nobody else. The highest good for everyone. You have to be willing to have the love and the passion and the excitement to open those gifts. An example of having that is being an artist. I love using my hands. I create, whether it's cooking or baking, whether it's whether it's doing mandalas, painting, drawing, writing poetry, or whether it's singing. I mean, those are things that I love to do, excuse me, and they bring me excitement and they raise my vibration, excuse me, and I have a passion for all of those things. So you want to make sure that you have that love and passion and excitement for what you're doing. It's going to raise your vibration. And if you have emotional constipation, which is not feeling your emotions without judgment or resistance, not you're going to have some issues there. You need to get rid of that. And you got to remember, seriousness, being serious is the number one thing that's going to block your gifts. And don't keep it to yourself. Got to remember that creates karma. Then there's the I don't know state. That's a extremely powerful way to access your gifts. It's okay to not know. And then opening yourself. And you open yourself up to the downloads, to your inner self, and then you get to know. You have that information. We can't always have the answer without opening ourselves up to what Spirit has to say to us. And then again, you have to have playfulness. Don't be too serious. I've heard it said that we have the opportunity to go from depression to expression, and that we don't have problems, we have opportunities. And it's true, just like we don't have failure, we have learning experiences. We have to learn that it's important to follow that, to be playful and experience. Don't hold on to the problems like they're going to mess you up. They teach you what not to do next time. Right now, you're listening to Love and Light with Crystal Blue Oracle, Healing as a Tribe, and taking responsibility for it on Transformation Talk Radio. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll explore more about this fascinating subject of spiritual gifts. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. I am Valerie Trujillo, and you're listening to Love and Light with Crystal Blue Oracle, Healing as a Tribe, and taking responsibility for it on Transformation Talk Radio. We just spoke about spiritual gifts, mostly how they're all given to us at birth, every single one of us. Nobody is forgotten. And also how we did forget them. And we're starting to access things now. Also about how they were our birthright and how to fully open our gifts, that we have to become a better person to activate those gifts. This is why in previous shows I talked about the awakening of our eyes, of our souls. What's real and what's a distraction to us that's keeping us from living our highest good and being in our bliss, so to speak. Spirit wants us to live our best life and our highest good. And some of you, like me, like I said before, might have forgotten about those things. And some of you might have been searching because you are awakened and you don't know what you're doing. And you might be searching for a long time. I also talked about in past shows triggers and how we need to address those triggers because they're keeping our vibration low and they're making us susceptible to having other low vibrational things stick to us. And we don't want that. And how if you work on those things that you stuffed in your pocket and hope never to address again, or like me, thinking you worked on it, but you worked on it up in your head and not in your heart and your soul, that you really didn't let it go. And it's keeping you still to this day from reaching your highest good, for being that happy. By healing those things, you do become a better person. You do become more compassionate and humble and open-hearted and pure-intentioned. and even more playful. That way you can lift your vibration and live your happiest life, your best life. Remember that we are like onions. As much as you don't want to hear it, and I didn't want to hear it when I heard it, we are like onions. We heal by peeling one layer at a time, one trauma, one emotion at a time. And you must take that time to heal. You didn't create all these low vibrational memories and emotions overnight. Yes, you created them, but it's because you were traumatized by whatever it was you were going through. And your soul self said, like, I'm jumping ship, I'm out. And not only do you go through trauma, but you lost the soul piece. And a lot of people blank things out so they can get through the trauma. And a lot of people pretend that it didn't happen just to protect themselves because it's too much to deal with. But what you don't realize is that not dealing with those things that are taking up space in your emotions, it makes you keep people at arm's length. It keeps you from being your best self, keeps you from having your highest good. You isolate yourself because you think that being close to people is going to hurt you. Now you think that being weak means, or being nice to people means you're weak and fragile. And it makes you create this, I'm going to get you before you get me type of attitude. You pushed away everyone that was close to you, not letting anybody else in, especially the magic of who you are. And that's why it's okay to be scared that maybe nobody's going to love who the real you is. It's okay to be scared that people are going to leave you. People come and go all the time. But as you heal, you create a tribe and you grow some stronger relationships along the way. And as long as you continue to live your life, not healing those parts of you, the parts that were hurt, traumatized, ignored, they're going to be relevant all the time to the negative parts until you heal yourself. But I digress. We're going to talk a little bit about the 5 laws of spiritual gifts that help you make those gifts work effortlessly for you. To some people, these are common sense, and they're not always common sense. The other laws, because I've already told you about 3, are letting go of your technique. We go and we take classes, so we learn how to do things. And then we keep doing them on clients. Or you learn a technique on how to meditate one specific way. What you don't realize is when it gets stagnant, when it feels like it's just not working, it's because you're holding on to the old techniques and not letting new energy in. You have to be willing to let the new energy in and to play with that energy. If you don't play with it, you're not going to grow. If you don't play with it, you're not going to learn new ways of doing it. And Spirit is always up for us to grow and be better. Like I said, Spirit wants us to be our happiest or live our highest good. And they have nothing but love and guidance for us. And they want to see us happy. They've never, ever, ever done anything to hurt us. And they won't. Number 5th law is slowing down. Sometimes you might feel the need to overcompensate instead of being in silence and then know that you can more easily hear the sound of your gifts. Excuse me, it's like being in a swimming pool and you're splashing around trying to get answers. Splashing around so much that you can't hear yourself. Instead of wading in that water and letting the silence allow the natural current to hit you with intuitive waves to get those answers. We pressure ourselves to learn those things, to give answers. I mean, I have no problem telling a client if I'm doing a reading and they have a specific question, I'm sorry. I need to have a little silence and go within to get you your answer. As long as you tell them, they have no problem. So you have to remember, by having pure intention for everyone involved, for being okay with not knowing everything and having all those answers right at your fingertips, by being able to be playful, to laugh at yourself, to know it's okay to make a mistake. It's okay to flub something, to be relaxed enough to say, okay, I don't have all the answers, but I'll help you find them. Playing with it, finding the energy to move it around, letting go of those techniques that have weighed you down, that have kept you from growing, from learning a new way to work with your modality. And for the people that haven't gotten their gifts yet, those techniques that you learn, be willing to play with them and move them around. You want to also allow the new energy to come in so that you can grow. We're going to grow for the rest of our lives. It's never going to stop. If you get comfortable where you're at, you're not learning, you're not growing. You have to, and some people don't want to hear this. They want to just sit there and relax and not go through any more trauma or do anything in their life, but that's not how life works. We're constantly going through things. We're constantly tested. We're constantly working on ourselves. There's always something to learn. And you want to slow down so you can hear what your guides and your angels, spirit, the I am presence, God is telling you. And you can use those gifts more effectively. I try to slow down and have fun by doing my artwork, listening to music, singing. It all just is a matter of how you want to look at those things. I'm Valerie Trujillo, and you're listening to Love and Light with Crystal Blue Oracle, healing as a tribe and taking responsibility for it. And we're on the Transformation Talk Radio Network. When we come back, I'll talk more, or I'll actually talk about spiritual gifts and the different gifts that I know of. And a few of them that I've just learned, things I didn't know had a name. And they do. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. I'm Valerie Trujillo, and you're listening to Love and Light with Crystal Blue Oracle, healing as a tribe and taking responsibility for it on Transformation Talk Radio. And now we're going to talk about gifts. What I do need to tell you is I grew up having a lot of these gifts, and I didn't have a name for them. It wasn't until learning and opening and going and practicing what I have did I know what some of these were. And there's some of these that I didn't know had a name and were actual gifts, but it's really important to know that they are, and they're everybody's God-given right. And let's just get into it. I'm going to read to you about the clairs first. Clairvoyance is a combination of precognition and pre-recognition, which is seeing things from the future and the past. It's also called psychics, and most empaths are clairvoyant. Not everyone, but most of them. The next clair is clairaudience. Clair means clear, and audience means from the form of audio. So from hearing, from your ear, from the inner ear, hearing high-pitched frequency, and there's nobody else that hears it but you. That's clairaudience. Claircognizance is the next one. That's the ability to be able to just know something. You get downloaded information quickly. There's a funny thing that's saying you know that you know, but you don't know how you know, but you know. Something like that. Then there's clairsentient. That's people feeling on the spiritual realm. You feel something. An example of that one, I went to Stanley Hotel with my kids and we took a tour of the Stanley Hotel. For those of you that don't know, Stanley Hotel, part of it is where they filmed The Shining, the elevator parts especially. Well, we took a tour and we went into this one room, and as soon as we went into that room, I felt cold and feeling like something was constricting my chest. And I asked the tour guide, I'm like, what was this room used for? And the lady told me, this was the men's room. This is where it was only men, and they smoked cigarettes and they hung out. It was a men only type thing. I'm like, I get it. They didn't like me being in there. I'm like, okay, let's go. So that's being able to feel something. The next one is clairgustance. Being able to taste something without putting it in your mouth. I get that all the time. My mom used to make enchiladas, and once in a while I will taste the enchiladas, and there's nothing there. I'm working. I'm not talking to anybody. I'm not eating anything, not drinking anything, and all of a sudden you get that taste. That's what that is. And that's something somebody could be doing. That's something like my son will be craving something and thinking about it. Then the next thing I know, I want it. And then we talk and we found out, yeah, he wanted it too. I felt something. I tasted something on the spiritual realm because of my connection with my son. So then there's clairolfactance, the ability to smell things that aren't there. I have that too. My mom, she had this perfume she loved, and it's taboo. It gave me a headache. That's how much I didn't like it. When she first passed away, to let me know she was around, she would put taboo. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I know you're here, Mom. I know you're here. Now she does other things, but it's not so much the taboo anymore. But it's also, too, you could be sitting down and you smell smoke, cigarette smoke, and there's nobody there. You could smell like gas, and there's nobody smelling it but you. Or you can smell alcohol, and there's nobody around you drinking. It's just, that's what that is. Then there's precognition and pre-recognition. That's the ability to have a feeling about something. That's, you have a feeling, if you do this, if you go this place, something's going to happen. And you get a bad feeling about doing it. Or you have a good feeling about making a decision. They're just different things. Then there's prophecy. To be specific, visions. You want to be aware of false prophets, because people with this gift, it's big. They don't usually tell anybody. So you just want to beware if somebody is walking around boasting like, hey, I can do this. The next gift is telepathy. Tele means communication, and it's the ability to transmit or see information psychically. And people practice with it. A good example of that one is you're in a room and there's a wall, a partition, and there's somebody on the other side. And I've seen this on television where people are given flashcards of ink blots. And this person thinks, well, this ink blot looks like a bird. Then they ask the person on the other side, what do you see? What does she have on the other side? And say, oh, I see a bird. That's what that is. Then there's mediumship and channeling. And that's spirit staying in the esoteric realm and you having the ability to connect to spirit that way. And there's lots of ways, lots of connections that way. Another one is astral projection. It's also called mental projection or out-of-body experience. Your consciousness literally comes out of your body, out of your physical body, and it travels to the astral realm or to other places on this realm. I remember the first time I astral projected. I was like 17 and I'd never done it before, but my intention was, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And then I started doing it. I was rising, and when I hit the ceiling of my bedroom, I felt like I couldn't get past that ceiling, and I went back in my body. That was cool, but I never did it again. I can do sometimes now, but not often. Then the next gift is called divination. Divination is tarot or oracle card readers, or working with the pendulum, or writing. I do a little bit of everything. So I do oracle cards, the pendulum. I do automatic writing on occasion. So it's all things you can do. Then there's some unfamiliar or familiar but uncommon gifts. The first one would be aura readings. There's some people who can read energy. Like I said in other shows, we are all energy and we carry energy. And it can be colored. And there's certain people who have the gift of seeing our auras, seeing the energy around us. And then again, there's the automatic writing. It's part of divination, but it's also having that ability to write things down and not know what you're writing. And then there's energy medicine. That can be Reiki or angelic energy healing or Tantra. And that's a pretty cool one to have. There's also remote viewing or sensing. From what I've read, you need to keep that one to yourself. The government likes to use those people to spy. Don't know if it's true. That's what I've read. Because you're able to sit in a room and consciously see someone else where they are and them not know. I don't like that. I wouldn't like somebody coming into my area. I'd be able to feel it. Then there's retrocognition, which is the ability to see things in the past and having knowledge about things in the past. Then there's second sight, seer, or oracle. This person sees past and future events. They're highly regarded, and they're the advice givers. Then there's psychometry. That's a cool one. Being able to perceive information just by touching an object. And you get information about a person through that object. That's pretty cool. Before we take a break, I'm going to give you my contact information. This is Love and Light with Crystal Blue Oracle, healing as a tribe and taking responsibility for it on Transformation Talk Radio. You can reach me at crystalblueoracle@yahoo.com. That's my email, or crystalblueoracle.com. Stay tuned, where we'll talk more about spiritual gifts. We're back on Love and Light with Crystal Blue Oracle, healing as a tribe and taking responsibility for it on Transformation Talk Radio. And I'm Valerie Trujillo. And we're talking about spiritual gifts. The next spiritual gift that we're going to talk about is energy manipulation. The ability to manipulate physical and non-physical energy with one's mind. That sounds pretty cool to me. The next one after that is cyber telepathy. The ability to be telepathic with technology. That one I see as you getting text messages from someone and they're not touching their phone. You're on your laptop and someone's sending you messages and they're not touching their laptop. Stuff like that. Then the next one I see is conjuration, which is the ability to materialize things out of thin air. That would be a cool one to have. Could get into trouble with that one. The next one after that is scrying. And that one I think is pretty cool. It's to see things in fire, in water, in smoke, in a crystal ball, in a mirror or tea. And I've seen these on TV all the time. You know, you're watching those. A good example, Snow White, the queen looking through the mirror to get answers. You know, crystal ball, watching a scary movie of people going to a psychic, you know, dressed up in gypsy garb, and she's looking at her crystal ball and getting answers. There's one gift that wasn't listed ever, and I didn't get it until just before the show, and that's palm reading or palmistry. It's an actual spiritual gift. Palmistry is the meaning of palm reading or hand prediction to learn a person's personalities, fortune, and future by analyzing his or her hands. It's also called chiromancy. In fact, it doesn't refer to just reading the palm of the hand. It refers to also reading the arm, the finger, and the nail, the fingernail. Like, oh, okay. On some of these gifts, you just have to remember, not some of them, all of them, okay. You have to remember you can't attain any of these gifts without healing. Some of you can already have the gifts, but you can only go so far when you don't heal. without changing to become a better person. You have to remember it's about living your best life and your highest good. It's about showing grace, helping your fellow human being, and supporting and uplifting everyone so that they can live their best lives and their highest good too. But remember, you don't have to have all of these gifts or the best gifts. There is no best gift. There's only growing, healing, raising your vibration, shining your light. And that's what it's all about, isn't it? The next gifts I'm going to talk about are what I have heard referred to as X-Men gifts. The first one is psychokinesis. Kinesis is from movement. It's the ability to move things with their mind using psychic energy. And that's been on X-Men. Yeah. Then there's telekinesis, the ability to move things with telekinetic energy. Also on X-Men movies, yeah. And then there's hydrokinesis, the ability to move water, control water without touching it. That's a cool one. Think of the Last Airbender when I hear that one. And then there's pyrokinesis, the ability to control fire without touching it. That would be a scary one to have. You wouldn't want to piss that person off. And then there's electrokinesis, the ability to control electricity with your mind without touching it. I mean, don't you kind of feel that way when you get shocked by static? Then there's biokinesis. That's the ability to change your DNA. When I heard that one, I thought about shapeshifters. That would be a cool one to have. Then there's chronokinesis. That's the ability to alter time within yourself and in others, speeding it up or slowing it down. That would be cool to have because there's only 24 hours in a day, and if you go either way, speeding it up or slowing it down, well, you might miss a few things. I don't know if you guys ever watched the movie Click with Adam Sandler, but that's kind of what he does with the remote control. The next gift is levitation, learning or having the ability to fly. I wouldn't mind that, but I'd be afraid to fall. I'm afraid of heights, so yeah, I would be afraid to fall. Then there's psychic surgery, the ability to remove diseases or disorders in the body. That would be cool. I don't know how people would actually do that. I mean, just that would be cool. Then there's apportation, the ability of telekinesis and conjuring. That's being able to materialize something and then teleport it, move it somewhere else. I think that's pretty cool, actually. So those are all the spiritual gifts. I do want to talk about a few things that all empaths have. And it's important for me to talk about it because I am an empath. Having the inner alchemy, having the ability to make use of the challenges and the unfair things that have happened to you in your life, things that you've experienced, being able to transcend, overcome, transform those things, and making your darkness shine. Pretty much all of us empaths have that. Not a lot of us believe it, but we do. And once you realize you have that power, there's no end. Also, a lot of empaths or wounded healers, we found a way to keep our heads above water, and transmute things that have happened to us to who we are now. Then we have energetic mindfulness. That's the ability to foresee, to see the energy in the room, the environment, and be able to read the people. And actually, it's a good ability to have. It helps. This ability makes ideal counselors and healers and psychics, mentors and therapists and guides and coaches. But a good coach doesn't have all the answers, but they are able to read the clients. And then, let's see. Before I go on, I'm going to have to cut it short because we're almost over. I want to thank all of you for being with me. I had a wonderful time being able to talk to you about this stuff. I wanted to tell you especially about next show, Tuesday, January 26th, where I will have world-renowned visionary artist and painter of souls, author, shamanic practitioner, teacher, and guide, Catherine Skaggs, on as my guest. Join us for the interview of a lifetime. You won't soon forget it. Have a great week, and I'll hopefully see you back here again. Take care.